Ariana, and Shruti and I will be presenting our 2014 Malaysia Airlines Flight Disappearance Project. Starting off, we have our explainer video, which is part of the Artwork Project submission.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the 2014 Malaysia Airlines flight disappearance. Shruti will be drawing, and I, Ariana, will be talking and taking you through this journey. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur on March 8, 2014 at 12:42 a.m. The Boeing 777 was traveling to Beijing, China. The flight consisted of 227 passengers, most of them Chinese or Malaysian. There were also 12 crew members on the flight, including the pilot and the pilot in command who were in charge of the plane. At 27 years old, pilot Farid Hamid was the main pilot of the plane. After this flight, he would have become a fully certified pilot, graduated, and moved on to flight school. Pilot in command Zahri Ahmed Shah was also the trainer of Hamid. He was 53 years old and the father of 3 adult kids. He was a good captain and was known to not be too dominating. At 1:01 a.m., Captain Zahri radioed that they had reached an altitude of 35,000 feet. At 1:21 a.m., the flight crossed into Vietnamese airspace, but its radar fell from Malaysian flight traffic control. By 2:30 in the morning, Vietnamese officials were not able to contact the flight, and around 6 in the morning, they began the emergency investigation to find the flight. The last words from that flight were from Captain Zahri at 1:19 a.m. saying goodnight. It was the last time anyone ever heard from them. The original search was conducted in the South China Sea. After their search proved resultless, a few days later, they found out that the flight had taken a turn southwest after disappearing from the Vietnamese radar. The flight turned around and flew straight back to the Malay Peninsula and kept flying until it was much further from the radar. Blaine Allen Gibson is an American lawyer who is interested in the Malaysia Airlines flight disappearance. Since 2015, he has been looking for clues on what happened to the plane in a self-funded exploration, and he has found 3 pieces of the missing plane in different continents. On July 29, 2015, Blaine Gibson found the first piece of the missing plane on the French island of Réunion. What he found was a 6-foot-long airfoil that was later confirmed as part of the plane. It was a huge discovery that came just 15 months after the disappearance of the plane. The discovery prompted him to search more in neighboring countries. In February of 2016, in a junkyard in Madagascar, Mozambique, Gibson made yet another discovery, and he found a gray triangular scrap that was also later to be confirmed as part of the plane. He also found some backpacks and purses that belonged to the people on the plane. He also found a baseball cap, and underneath that cap, there was a message written in Malay. It is the only piece of writing that was ever found on the plane. There are so many theories on what actually happened to the plane, such as pilot suicide. But one of the most realistic theories that actually probably happened was that the plane had attempted to make a water landing in the Indian Ocean, resulting in the plane shattering into a million pieces. To this day, no one has found any bodies of anyone, so the world has presumed that all 239 passengers and crew members died in the failed water landing. Thank you so much for listening, and Shruti and I hoped you enjoyed it and learned something new today.
On March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 took flight from Malaysia. Flight 370 from Malaysian Airlines was traveling from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing, China. The pilot, Farid Hamid, was flying this plane as his last training flight, and his co-pilot, Zahari Ahmed Shah, was his trainer and a well-respected senior captain at the agency. The flight consisted of 227 passengers, who were either mostly Chinese or Malaysian. At 1:01 a.m., the co-pilots understood that they had reached an altitude of 35,000 feet, and they were told to signal a Vietnamese air station at their next point. The Vietnamese officials saw that the flight dropped from their radar, and they understood that it had taken a different course. By 2:30 a.m., they were not able to contact the lost flight. 4 hours later, they began an emergency investigation to start looking for the flight. After their search in the South China Sea proved to be unsuccessful, a few days later, they found out that the flight had taken a turn southwest after disappearing from the Vietnamese radar. The flight turned around and flew straight back to Malay Peninsula and kept flying until it was much further from the radar. Based on the transmission evidence, it was predicted that the flight had attempted a water landing across the sea, but it was instead blown apart on the Indian Ocean.
Farid Hamid was a 27-year-old pilot of the plane. He was the main pilot, and he was in training when he was flying it. This flight would have been his last training flight until he graduated and moved on to flight school. And after this, he would have become a fully certified pilot. Zahari Ahmed Shah was the pilot in command and Farid's trainer. He was 53 years old and the father of 3 adult kids. He owned 2 houses, one having a Microsoft flight simulator. Zahari was known to be a good captain and not too dominating. Blaine Gibson is an American lawyer who is interested in the disappearance of the Malaysian Airlines flight disappearance. Since 2015, he has been looking for clues on what has happened, and he has found 3 pieces of the missing airplane.
First, Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur was where the flight took off from. Next, Beijing. Beijing was the destination that the flight was supposed to arrive at. The Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is where researchers perceive the flight crashed. Reunion. Reunion was the French island where the first piece of the plane was found by Blaine Gibson. Mozambique. Mozambique was the place where the junkyard was located, where the second piece of the airplane was found. Australia. Australia was the country that took control of the investigation when the Malaysian government started slacking.
On March 8, 2014, at 12:32 a.m., the flight took off from Beijing. At 1:01 a.m. on March 8, 2014, Captain Zahari radioed that they had reached 35,000 feet. At 1:19 a.m. on March 8, 2014, the controller at Kuala Lumpur radioed Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9, good night, Malaysian 370. In 2015, on July 29th, a beach cleanup crew on the French island of Reunion found a 6-feet-long piece of an airfoil, later to be confirmed as part of the missing plane. In February of 2016, in Vilanculos, Mozambique, Gibson found a gray triangular scrap, which was later to be confirmed as part of the plane.
Here are 2 quotations on the event by Blaine Gibson and an anonymous person. This event was significant as it involved many countries in Asia, America, and Europe. This event was a very unusual case because no one had ever found the plane, no matter how much investigation they had conducted. Everyone should know about this event because it is one of the most unusual cases in history, and there are very many theories on what actually happened to the plane.
Here are our citations from the Atlantic and the Guardian.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you learned something new today.